You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. Be sure to smash that like button. Hey, look, you all know I was pretty adamant. Thought LSU would beat Ole Miss. They did. A lot of people congratulating me. Man, great pick, man. You nailed it. Come on. Look, I don't need congratulations for that. Picking LSU to win that game was akin to picking the sun to rise today. So this isn't so much about Ole Miss as it is about LSU. Now, I am really excited about Russ Mitchell coming on this show on Wednesday, who did tweet yesterday, a 9 is the new 4. Look, a lot of people missed the mark on LSU, clearly. At this point in the season, through 8 games going into their bye, if we go back and look at preseason picks, I had LSU at 6-2. I had them, though, at 3-2 in the conference. I had Florida and Florida State swapped. I had them beating Florida State, losing to Florida. 6-2 doesn't surprise me. The 4-1 is a very pleasant surprise because if you had to switch those, wouldn't you? You'd give up the early season loss to Florida State to be 4-1 in the conference right now, because after you beat down Ole Miss on Saturday, 45-20, the conversation about LSU rightfully changes. When you're sitting here right now at 6-2 overall, 4-1 in the league, you'll be going into November with a share of the West, and you're playing Alabama on your field a week from Saturday. All of a sudden, when people ask the question, hey, can LSU win the SEC West? Yeah, they can. You got a home game against Bama, who struggled on the road, and you got road games against Arkansas and Texas A&M, who don't look like half the team today that we thought they'd be in the preseason. So it's not just that you beat Ole Miss. I thought a lot of people thought they'd beat Ole Miss. I did. LSU was the favorite. It's how you beat Ole Miss. Beating them by 25. You bully balled them all over the yard for 3 quarters. It changes the conversation about LSU. SEC West, New Year's 6, college football playoff. Listen, I think all of that is far-fetched, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think LSU's going to the playoff, or I don't think LSU's winning the SEC West and going to Atlanta. But do you have to have the conversation today? You're damn right you do. Because we got 2 weeks of build-up toward a game in Tiger Stadium against Alabama that will decide the SEC West champion. And you get that game on your home field when you're playing good and you're healthy and you're peaking at the right time, yeah, it changes the conversation. But Saturday was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to watch that game, to watch LSU really continue to evolve and develop as the season has gone along. And the way the game started against Ole Miss, I even tweeted, it's almost comical at this point. Like, my buddy John Neighbors, who does radio in Arkansas, saw Ole Miss, get up 14 real quick, and he tweeted, man, that didn't take long. Ole Miss is up 14. I said, first time watching LSU all year? He's like, well, actually, since the first game of the season, yes. It was like, just stick around. They walk, and then they jog, and then they run, and then they sprint. And it's just what LSU has been all year, and they were again on Saturday. LSU was offsides on the opening kickoff. They were offsides on the opening kickoff. As much as we've talked about special teams, at this point, it don't even matter. It didn't even matter having that conversation. LSU was offsides on the opening kickoff and then allowed 5 plays. Ole Miss is in the end zone. It's just what they are. There's an 8-game sample to show this team does not start fast. If they ever figure it out, boy, that'd be a lot of fun. But they aren't. They don't start fast. You find yourself down 17-3. They kick a field goal in the first play of the second quarter. You're down 17-3. It's just what it is. And then from that point on, LSU outscored Ole Miss 42-3. It was incredible to watch that avalanche come the way it did. And look, early in the game, some of the stuff didn't go your way. There were 6 plays early, 3 on offense, 3 on defense, that if you highlight, you say, man, when all of those don't go your way, you start to wonder, is it going to be your day? Ole Miss goes up 7-0. LSU gets the ball in their first possession, and you have 3 plays that should have been touchdowns. The deep ball to to Brian Thomas, which was underthrown. Now, you drew PI on it, but a better thrown ball, it's a touchdown. You get the goal-to-go situation. On second down, they throw the ball to Kayshawn. Beautifully designed play where they had Kayshawn in the slot on the right, beat his man, he's open, and Daniels just overthrows him. And then on third down, you got Malik Neighbors open in the back of the end zone. He catches it, but the defender pushes him out of bounds. Any one of those 3 plays could have been a touchdown. You're tied. Instead, short field, you kick a field goal, and you're thinking, man, it'd been great to get 7 there. So you're down 7-3 on the next defensive possession. You get an interception that they wipe off the board because of a penalty. Dart throws another pass that hits Greg Brooks on the shoulder pad. He can't catch it, goes up in the air, and Sage Ryan lays out for it, can't quite get it. And then you have them stopped on fourth down, and they call B.J. Ojulari for pass interference, and ultimately they get in the end zone. Any one of those things go the other way, you get a stop. And you flip the momentum of the game. But instead, and then on your next possession, you miss a field goal. And then you hold them to a field goal, so it's 17-3. But the point is, early in the game, things weren't going LSU's way. But it's taught us a lot about this team. They're a mentally tough team that does not fragment or crumble when things aren't going well. That has literally been true since the first game of the season. When they played Florida State, they played horribly for 3 quarters, and then boom, once they caught their stride, here it came. I mean, I know I've heard a lot of people say it, and it's true. How much would you love to play Florida State right now? I mean, LSU would be a 2-touchdown favorite over Florida State right now. But it's the game you played early in the season. It's just what it is. So you just continue to improve, and LSU has. Jayden Daniels has got to be a huge takeaway, not just because he's played well, but he's becoming a force. The last 2 weeks, he's been a force. In Florida, 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing. Saturday against Ole Miss, he goes 21 of 28, completes 75% of his passes. He throws for 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a QBR of 85.4. Pro Football Focus put out their list of the highest rated passers from college football this weekend. It's a pretty good list that Jayden Daniels is on. The highest graded quarterbacks from this weekend, Sam Hartman from Wake Forest was number 1. Hendon Hooker was number 2. Bo Nix, who led the upset of UCLA, the win over UCLA, was number 3. Garrett Schrader from Syracuse, and then Jayden Daniels, 85.5, the 5th highest rated quarterback in the country this weekend. Jayden Daniels isn't just managing the game and protecting the football and making something out of nothing when there are busted plays. He is making big plays now through the air and on the ground. And the other thing, and I know Brian Kelly talked about this after the game, it's been designed runs for Jayden Daniels. It's creating this action that a defense has to respect. It's not just Jayden running when he's tucking to run. It's design plays where you better respect the quarterback's ability to run on this play or he can hurt you. And then you have backs and also pass catchers that can hurt as well. The defensive adjustments have been awesome. You shut out Ole Miss in the second half. You shut out Auburn in the second half. You held Mississippi State to just 3 points in the second half. And so much of it was pressuring Jackson Dart. And when LSU had a lead and Ole Miss couldn't rely on their running game, you saw what happened. But, man, LSU defensively, they punished Jackson Dart. 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 6 passes defensed, 7 quarterback hurries. That was such a part of the game in the second half was, hey, just go kill the quarterback. And they did. And they got him off his spot. They made him antsy. They hit him. They hurt him. They punished him. And LSU's got enough athletes off the edge to do that. And I would tell you the other thing is that they dominated the line of scrimmage. It wasn't just pressuring Jackson Dart. Ole Miss came in here with the number 1 rushing offense in the SEC, the number 3 rushing offense in college football. And LSU held Ole Miss to 117 yards rushing on 37 carries. They only had 3 rushes all day, more than 10 yards. It was a brilliant performance, and it's a matchup clearly that favored LSU. LSU's athletes in the front 7 are physical enough to play bully ball at the line of scrimmage. They're athletic enough to run sideline to sideline and make plays in space. It's why they were able to limit Mississippi State. It's why they were able to really handcuff Ole Miss. And it's why pretty much any matchup, LSU is going to be favored with that defense, unless if there are dynamic skill guys on the outside, which Tennessee had, and unfortunately so does Alabama. We'll talk about it. But the flip side, and maybe the biggest kudos, has to go to LSU's offensive line and that running game, because that offensive line week 1 was atrocious. We all talked about it. And, through 8 games now, you've had 6 different starting combos, and you're probably going to get Garrett Dellinger back for Alabama. And if you do, that's great. Miles Frazier fit in perfectly the past couple of weeks. Your offense is churned, but you have really stabilized with the 2 freshman tackles and with Charles Turner in the middle, Bradford at right guard, and then whatever you've had to do with Dellinger or Frazier at left guard. But, man, the ability to just line up and run the ball when everybody knows you're going to run the ball and they can't stop it, that's demoralizing for a defense. And it's empowering as a team because it allows you to control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, control the game. And it was one of the things that Les Miles did so well for so long, where his teams were able to do that. What they weren't able to do was make plays through the air when they needed to make plays through the air. This clearly is a team that can do both. And they are fun to watch right now. So LSU beats Ole Miss 45-20. A great win at a great time for LSU, because now you go into your bye with a ton of good vibes off these back-to-back wins over Florida and Ole Miss, and it gives you time to heal. Armani Goodwin looked really explosive with his 8 carries. He gets 2 weeks to rest. They held John Emery because of a tweaked knee. He gets to rest. You would assume Jack Besh will be back. We already talked about Garrett Dellinger. Jayden Daniels ran the ball 23 times. He got hit a lot. He gets an extra week to prepare. And you give this coaching staff 2 weeks to prepare for an Alabama team coming into Tiger Stadium for what becomes, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it becomes basically the game for the SEC West. So just a massive opportunity coming up a week from Saturday, and an opportunity and I'm not sure many of you thought LSU would have going into November. But what a job this staff has done, the players buying in and really getting rolling right now and finding their stride as LSU beats Ole Miss 45-20, and a lot of meaningful football ahead for this team. Not just the program as they start to build, but like for this team this year, which, man, I wasn't sure that was even going to be a thing this year, but here we are. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.